A former UCF football player is seeking donations after his dispute with the NCAA.
I can't play college football, no more scholarship, can't pay for school.
Declared ineligible this week when he refused the NCAA's compromise of leaving UCF and his football out of YouTube videos where he does make ad revenue.
Starting today, the NCAA is changing its long-held policy and will allow athletes to make money from their name, image, and likeness.
You might think football, basketball players, they stand to make the most money.
But all athletes stand a chance to get paid well, especially those with a significant social media following.
This is Olivia Dunn. She's a gymnast at LSU and has over 1.1 million followers on Instagram and 4.1 million followers on TikTok. And as of July 1st, she can actually make a profit off of those platforms.
She's on track to make a big profit. People are saying she's going to be one of the most profitable college athletes, period.
As of July 1st, college athletes can now make money off their name, image, and likeness.
And this now means that all the college athletes out there who have followings on social media can actually monetize it.
So we actually covered this story right when the news broke in our Creator Economy newsletter called The Published Press. And in that, we talked about how this was a massive deal because it essentially expands the size of the creator economy. So if you're a creator yourself or interested in the creator economy, there's a lot to unpack here about how this is going to affect the future.
And in this episode, we're going to speak with a college athlete who's starting to monetize his brand.
Pehlke is a rising junior on the Buckeyes lacrosse team, but most people know him for his YouTube channel.
And if you're watching right now and you're not subscribed, I've got a message for you. Subscribe. That's it.
That's
really.
it?
Yeah,
That's
that was
the
the
message.
Yeah, it's just
Powerful.
Yeah, one word.
Yeah.
Please. We're trying to get to 300,000 subscribers, so if you could, just give this video a like and subscribe.
Now, on this week's episode, because it's all about college athletes monetizing their brands, we're actually having a college athlete sub in for Colin to roll the intro. Let's welcome Sedona Prince of Oregon basketball to roll the intro.
Hey, I'm Sedona Prince, and Colin and Samir paid me to roll this intro.
So prior to this deal, here's how the exchange worked. You're a talented athlete. We're going to offer you a scholarship. So basically, we're going to pay for your school.
Is this a hypothetical? Because I was a talented athlete. I did play.
But you did not.
I did play.
I can confirm you did not get an offer like this.
Carry on.
Yeah. So if you're a college athlete, basically a coach comes to you and says, hey, we'd like you to play at our university. And in exchange for that, we're going to give you a scholarship to the school, which basically means we'll pay for you to go to school here. You're not seeing any dollars, but we will cover your tuition at the school. We'll also give you a meal plan so your food is taken care of, and we'll give you housing, probably like some dorm on campus. Outside of that, that's the end. Now, the value to the school is attracting a ton of students, building the brand of the schools.
They will put you on billboards.
They'll sell a media rights deal for millions of dollars for you to play on ESPN, but your compensation ends at, we'll pay for your school.
March Madness now brings in over $1 billion in TV ad revenue.
The reality is they are exploiting athletes most of the time, right? Like that seems to be the situation, is that like the NCAA and colleges were able to take advantage of athletes during their time at the school.
In 2018, Alabama football made a $48.2 million profit for the school.
And the players got none of that.
And a lot of college athletes actually live on very modest means, or sometimes don't even have enough money to like have housing.
Sometimes, like I said, there's hungry nights where I'm not able to eat, and but I still got to play up to my capabilities. They are hungry nights that I go to bed and I'm starving.
I always thought this when I was watching the college football national championship or March Madness. Like these are massive advertising events. The players are the stars, and they're like the faces of these events, and they don't get a dollar.
And at any moment, their scholarship can be taken from them. And they are no longer a student nor an athlete, and they really have nothing.
On YouTube, we've actually seen this come up as well. We interviewed Ryan Trahan recently on this channel. Ryan Trahan was a D1 runner at Texas A&M who had a YouTube channel that was promoting his own water bottle brand.
Essentially, they tell me you can't use your name, image, and likeness and be on the Texas A&M team and continue making money.
They were telling him you're going to have to choose between being an athlete or being a creator. There's no world where you can be both.
They felt like it was a direct line of saying, I'm a Texas A&M runner, and I have this water bottle brand, and so people buy the water bottle brand because I'm a Texas A&M runner.
One of the biggest examples was with Donald De La Haye, who is also known as Destroying on YouTube. I mean, this was huge news, like all over ESPN. University of Central Florida kicker who had a YouTube channel that also had to make that choice. And he ended up, like Ryan, choosing YouTube.
Well, the reality is, like, it's kind of uncertain if you're going to go pro. And the important thing to note here is social media monetization and the opportunities that come with building your brand on social media are really serious. Like, those are vast. It's almost infinite right now, those possibilities. And there's a crazy amount of value that's created when you're a college athlete with a social media presence.
And the thing is, a lot of college athletes already have massive followings on social media because they have huge built-in fan bases. Like the alumni base at University of Oregon is huge. And the distribution that some of these athletes get on mainstream media is also massive, even if it's a college in a small town, right? Where they don't have massive fan bases, they still are valuable to those communities.
What's interesting is that athletes have been influencers before influencers were around. So the athletes at your school influenced what happened at the school. But now the concept, they're incentivized to scale that influence while in college through social media.
It also safeguards you against the very likely reality that you do not become a professional athlete, right? Less than 2% of basketball players are drafted, and even a fewer amount actually make viable careers, right, in the NBA. Your 4 years at college could actually be your most lucrative time now as an athlete, whereas before you couldn't make any money. Like, the shelf life of an athlete is just not long.
Yeah.
The shelf life of a creator, who knows?
But it's longer.
But it could be longer.
It has the potential for being pretty long.
Yeah.
Now, because of this deal and because of the fact that college athletes are such good distribution, all the way from the biggest brands in the world down to, your local restaurant in your community where your college is, deals were signed starting at midnight when this was announced.
Clearly, the industry was ready for this. The Cavinder twins, who are basketball players at Fresno State, they quickly signed a deal with Boost Mobile, like right away. And I read an article that said that they have the potential to make more money than their head coach. So you're in this really interesting place where you can play for a team, but double up your coach's salary.
And I think what we're going to see a lot of too is podcasts, vlogs. There's already 2 Nebraska basketball players who started a podcast called Off Court, and it's already sponsored by a local bar. And some of the deal sizes are going to get really big. Like, Unilever has already announced that they're going to spend $5 million with college athletes to promote their deodorant brand Degree. There's so many different ways to monetize. The stuff that we're seeing really early on, brand deals. Brand deals are the foundation of the creator economy. This thing works because of advertising. That's what we're going to see a lot more of. Now, the other way we're seeing is Cameo. We opened up the show with Sedona Prince, who we purchased that on Cameo. Other college athletes can launch merchandise.
So Lexi Sun, who's a volleyball player at University of Nebraska, on June 30th filed a trademark for her logo, and then the next day announced an apparel line.
It's the way the creator economy works. 1 is brand deals, and 2 is direct to consumer.
I wonder too, how much do certain schools and conferences get involved? Schools are now going to be incentivized to offer creator education.
The X factor here is all going to be about education. How are athletes educated about how to monetize? Now, if you're a creator or an athlete who wants to learn how to monetize through merchandise, this video is actually sponsored by Shopify. That had to be one of the cleanest segues in the game, Colin.
That's very convenient.
Yeah. Shopify president Harley Finkelstein even tweeted out, if you're a college athlete, open a Shopify store today. Sell your autographs, print jerseys on demand, use social to build a relationship directly with your fans. So we partnered with Shopify to help educate creators on how to launch their Shopify stores. So a few weeks ago, we showed you guys this design for a shirt. And the next step, once you have a design, is to go actually manufacture the product before you can set up your store and sell. I'm about to go into the Fan of a Fan warehouse. This is a company here in Los Angeles that makes merch for a ton of different creators. And today they're gonna start printing and getting ready to ship our published shirts. Wow, look at that. These are awesome. This is so crazy. There it is. This is Ryan. He runs this place. If you're wearing creator merch, most likely this guy has made it. That's what I'm gonna say. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I mean, we're pumping out a lot of units.
And if you bought creator merch, it was probably sold on Shopify. Like Emma Chamberlain's coffee. Yeah, that's a Shopify store. Wow. Yeah, like I would hang that up.
Can't believe I have a hat.
Man, this looks great.
All right, here you go.
All right. Thanks, dude.
Thank you. Dude, this is insane.
We've gone from idea to design to process, and now we're gonna launch our store. Shopify makes it super easy to get started with the most powerful e-commerce tools to run your business. So click the link in our description to start your free trial with Shopify and start building your brand today. All right, back to the show. A lot of these college athletes are gonna start making brands, merch. What you start to realize is we're in the same business as them now. We're building a fan base and we're trying to monetize it through advertising, merchandise, and other ways that creators monetize, right? Direct to consumer offerings.
We mentioned the Unilever $5 million investment.
Right.
Hypothetically, if Unilever were to come to us, we would field some sort of offer for a brand deal. But they're not coming to us.
No.
They are now going to college athletes.
That's $5 million that will not be invested in people like you and I. And
look, man, I could sell deodorant.
I don't think I could sell deodorant.
Toothpaste?
I don't think I could sell deodorant. Toothpaste, I think I could sell. I got good teeth. But yeah, I think the interesting thing here is that Dollar Shave Club, who works with a lot of influencers, if I'm Dollar Shave Club, I might hold out a lot of my budget until March Madness or until some big moment, because I'm like, I actually want the quarterback using Dollar Shave Club. I'm not positive I need 5 of these influencers doing it. I'll just spend all that money on this person because they have impact on their campus and they have impact on national television and they have impact in all these places. The creator economy, a massive part of it just shifted over to these creators who are just inherently more interesting.
At least at that time.
Yeah. It's going to be so fascinating to see. I'm curious when the first 7-figure deal is going to get announced.
$2 million. It's incredible. This is going to change the way college athletes want to stay in school. This is like playing in the pros now.
I'm also looking forward to hearing some of these success stories of, I just bought my parents a house.
Yeah.
Right? Like
That's
how unbelievable that moment will be because college athletes are now able to make money off their name and likeness.
So we actually caught up with a current D1 athlete, Mitchell Pehlke of Ohio State lacrosse. When you got to Ohio State, were there any issues with you making YouTube videos? Was that an issue at all?
I'd say the biggest thing when I got there was having to turn off all my monetization on my YouTube videos and stop selling my merchandise. I was really aware that after the whole destroying thing went down in, I think, 2017, but when I got there, it was real. Like, my compliance contact emailed me and she was like, as soon as you step on campus, you have to deactivate all these things. And that was definitely tough for me. But obviously the end goal for me, and it always has been, is to play Division I lacrosse, and I didn't want to give up that dream.
How significant was, building merchandise and monetization on the channel prior to that?
For the first years of college, I lived off the merchandise I sold in high school. It was tough because you spend all these hours making these videos, and now just because I'm playing a sport at the next level means I can't make any money. Like, it just didn't make sense to me. But at the end of the day, like, I couldn't really fight the NCAA.
So July 1st rolls around. Like, was that something you were anticipating? Were you waiting for something like that? Did you hope something like that would happen? Like, what was your reaction to the news?
Yeah, so it's definitely something I planned for. I couldn't go to sleep that night. Like, I was just so fired up to, like, the day finally came. It was like Christmas, like back in the day when you wake up and run down the stairs. And went to bed at like 11:45. I was like, all right, I got to go before all the madness goes down. And I remember waking up at like 4 a.m. and I was like, oh, let me check my Instagram. And I got a bunch of DMs from different companies and this and that. And I was honestly stressed out. Like, I had to look back and like take a step back. It's like, all right, look, NIL is here forever. Like, it'll be here forever. It started today, but it'll be here forever. There's no point of like rushing to get back to all these companies today. Like, kind of telling myself that definitely helped me out because it was just so much stuff. And it's like a video going viral. You're like getting all these ads and this and that. And it's just like, all right, relax.
So basically for you now, like the Mitchell Pehlke business and social media, how it'll be monetized now is you'll turn back on YouTube monetization, which I'm assuming you already have, right?
Yep.
So you got YouTube monetization. I'm assuming you'll fire up the merch again.
Yeah, already fired it up. Yeah.
Already fired up the merch again.
My finger was firing on July 1st, like just monetizing everything.
So you got YouTube monetization, you got merchandise, now you got brand deals, which is a whole new world for you. And then are you going to get into anything else? Are you going to get into Cameo? Are you going to explore, events? Like how else are you going to going to get into it, or are those the three main ways you're going to monetize?
Cameo, what I would say, is the next thing. And continuing to give lacrosse lessons virtually and in person is another thing. And soon enough, being able to start my own Mitchell Pehlke lacrosse camp is another one. And then just branching out, like, emailing different companies, being like, hey, like, let me come out and make like behind the scenes vlog of like, hey, like this burger joint just released, like, let's go try it. And just different things like that, personal appearances. I think there's so many different avenues on ways to make money being a student athlete. And I'm going to be completely honest when I say this, like, you guys show me the ropes on how to like monetize a lot of my stuff. Like, I was watching the Nelk video you guys put out the other day, and like, it just opened my brain up to being like, wow, like these guys started out like partying videos and now they have their own adult beverage, and they can lead into so many different things. So like, I got to give a big shout out to you guys. Like, you guys opened my mind on a lot of this stuff.
Thanks, man.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm really happy this has happened. I'm super happy. Like, I think college athletes should be able to monetize. And I'm super pumped about this. And coming at a time where you can actually build an audience using the phone in your pocket, I think this is such a massive time, because there's going to be some creators who don't even need to vlog. They just need to be on TikTok. They just have to pull out their phone and film some interesting stuff and film their workouts. Like,
I also think it's going to change how some athletes choose which schools they want to go to.
Yeah, because you want to go to the interesting school now.
Do I want to start at Fresno State, or do I want to sit on the bench at Alabama?
I don't know.
Like,
actually,
maybe I want to sit on the bench at Alabama so I can talk about what it's like to go to the University of Alabama.
Yeah. It might be more interesting. So I can brand myself as an Alabama athlete.
Yeah.
People are generally interested in what college life is like.
That's why college vlogging is basically its own category on YouTube.
I mean, Elliot Choi did a video about life on campus at Harvard, and it absolutely went nuts. I mean, he made $90,000 on that video alone. All of a sudden, you can be a college athlete who goes from making $0 to, if you play your cards right on YouTube, you can make like $500,000 a year.
But even if you're not a college athlete, college students are able to leverage some of these brand names. Like, the name of Harvard is internationally known and internationally like aspirational.
Yeah.
Right. So just by putting the name Harvard in your title, people are interested. But if you're an athlete, you can't make money off that until now.
Yeah. It's huge. If a student is allowed to do a locker room tour at one of these, at Alabama football, it would go crazy, right?
Those videos do go crazy. Yeah. But they're put out by the schools.
Or they're put out by the schools, or they're put out by like some other brand.
Yeah. Some
like
random
complex or
organization.
Something. Yeah. And you're like, wait,
strange.
they can make money on it? Like, it doesn't make any sense. But I don't know how much the schools will allow, but regardless of it, even if you did a morning routine before game day as a college quarterback, right? And I think additionally, imagine you're out of college and you're like, I'm going to go to the film department and say, is there a kid here who can help me film and edit? That's what I would do if I was a college athlete right now. I would immediately walk into if I'm at like SC or anything else, I'd be like, hey, I'm looking for a filmer. You want some experience? You want to become the executive producer of my YouTube channel?
I mean, young filmmakers are already working with the athletic departments. We've seen that. LSU, like some of the cinematography coming out of LSU football was insane.
Or Clemson.
Clemson.
Yeah.
But I would think if you're a young filmmaker at a school, I would much rather partner with an athlete.
Yeah, follow
because
an
you
athlete.
could work with them for the rest of their career.
And you can make money.
Yeah.
As that filmmaker. You could say like, hey, I'll split your AdSense revenue with you.
Totally.
That's what I would do for sure. So I think there's a couple of takeaways here. One is for college athletes. This is a massive opportunity. But I think it's really important to build your brand properly. Of course, like, listen, if you're in a situation where you need the money and you need to figure out ways to put together money, then, by all means. But I think mentorship is going to be really important when it comes to college athletes becoming creators. And maybe us as creators, I would love to be a part of that in some way, shape, or form.
I think the first thing we could do is give scholarships for our storytelling course.
That would be really cool. That's a great idea. Yeah.
If you're a college athlete and you're watching, comment below and let us know what sport you play and where.
So I also think there's an opportunity for brands to think about creative ways to say, I can work with a college athlete, but let me pair them with a creator I've worked with before. That's where it's going to get really interesting, right? Where it's like, here's a college athlete, let me pair them with a creator. And that's actually going to help facilitate some level of mentorship or introduction to what it's like to be a creator. Like, there's a world where those types of collaborations can happen, and brands can be at the forefront of facilitating those collaborations. Now, potentially little known fact, Colin and I were both college athletes. Now, we were both club collegiate athletes. I have no idea how this plays into being a club collegiate athlete. Potentially has no bearing on it at all. But question for you, while you were a college athlete at the University of Colorado, what would you be excited about from a sponsorship perspective? Would it be local or would it be national sponsorship? Like what?
Local. I mean, local celebrity
Totally.
all the way. Yeah, like local bars, local restaurants.
I agree. I think being a college student, if you weren't like the biggest, then for me, like I playing at UC Santa Cruz, there was a local pizza shop.
Yeah.
I would have loved to be sponsored by the local pizza shop. There's multiple of these now, but it was called Woodstock's Pizza.
Yeah.
And I would have loved to be sponsored by Woodstock's Pizza. Everyone went there on Wednesday nights. It was super fun. If I was treated like differently, if I had my own table.
Which the real college athletes actually were.
You dropped real
differently.
in that.
I'm just saying.
No, you dropped a real there.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw what you did there.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, check my stats, man. So that's our take on college athletes being able to monetize their name, image, and likeness. And again, this was something that we covered in our creator economy newsletter, The Publish Press. So if you want to hear these stories, if you're interested in the creator economy, head to thepublishpress.com and you can subscribe there. You'll get newsletters into your inbox on every Tuesday and Friday.
Before we end the episode, in our interview with Eric, at the very end, we asked everyone who waited until the very end, the later gang, as we have since coined them, to comment a question below, and we said that we would answer it in a future episode. So here's a question that we got from the comments. This question's from Andre. He says, what are examples y'all have had of getting good at something you never wanted to do again?
So we bring this up quite a bit, like as a point of advice for creators, is don't get good at something you don't want to do. And I would say that we developed a skill set of making long form documentaries, just you and I. And there was a time in our business where it was just you and I on the road with cameras and computers making very intensive documentaries, even to the point where we made one for NBC. It was you, myself, and one other editor. Those were some of the most grueling times of our lives, but it actually led us into doing more of that, where we said we could do this on a minimal budget because it's just us. But it was the closest thing to absolute burnout and just kind of horrible anxiety that I've ever experienced.
It's very low.
Super low points. I mean, like,
so, we were excited that we pulled it off, but never want to do that again.
We got too used to pulling it off with a really minimal crew. And so we kept thinking that we could do it again. And then we started getting more and more opportunities to do that, where it was, hey, Colin and Samir are going to show up with cameras and make a documentary. And I would love to make another documentary, but I would never do it again. Just you, me, and a minimal crew. You need a big budget to do the stuff that we were trying to do.
All right. That was comment below.
Also, shout out to the later gang. You all are the best. Thanks for staying to the end of the video. That really means a lot. It was so cool in our last video to see all the people who commented later gang. That just means a lot to me. So thank you guys.